Okay, thank you.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And if we could remain standing and remember our men and women in the armed forces, and I'd like to add all those that have been affected one way or another by the virus. Thank you. I did it last time. Didn't I? I don't know. Could you ask Gina if I did that? Okay. So first on the agenda, welcome everyone. The village board's here, the village clerk. We have our TV and radio man here. I have a couple department heads around the corner, and our village attorney. First on the agenda is to approve the minutes from our August 3rd, 2020 meeting.
Motion. Second.
Motion by trustee Howard, second by trustee DeSalvo. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Okay. Next we have just one tonight. Usually it's more. Property maintenance public hearings. Is there anyone here, owner or representing 22 Mountain Avenue? Anyone around the corner? Let the record show no one is here representing or the owner of 22 Mountain Avenue. Resolution reads as follows. Whereas a long-standing violation of the Village Property Maintenance Law, Chapter 170 of the Village of Highland Falls Code has existed at 22 Mountain Avenue. Whereas the property owner or owners have been given due notice of said violations and have been directed to correct the violations. And whereas the property owner or owners were given due notice of public hearing to be held by the Board of Trustees on the 17th of August 2020 at 7 p.m. to determine whether the violations have been properly remedied and whether to order that corrective action be undertaken by the village to correct said violations and at the village owner's cost and expense. To bill said cost and expense to the property owner and to levy the same against the property. And whereas a public hearing was duly held by the Board of Trustees on August 17th, 2020, and whereas the owner or owners did not appear, and whereas the owner or owners have not taken steps to correct the violations and the violations still exist, and whereas the Board of Trustees is authorized pursuant to Section 170-2 of the Property Maintenance Law to authorize that the village undertake to remedy such violations at the property owner's cost and expense. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the village, its contractors or agents shall enter upon the property to correct the violations that all costs incurred by the village, including administrative, legal, corrective costs, be charged to the property owner, and such charge shall be added to the tax bill of the property owner if not paid within 30 days of notification to the last known address of the property owner as shown on the village tax records. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by trustee Livesey. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by trustee DeSalvo. May I have roll call?
Trustee Howard.
Aye.
Trustee Livesey.
Aye.
Trustee DeSalvo.
Yes.
Trustee Ramus.
Aye.
Mayor D'Onofrio.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. All right, we have a few on the agenda of probation periods to get by. I would like a motion that agree with the Chief Water Plant Operator Jack Sibley that complete the probation of the water assistant Ryan Kresbach, effective March 7th, 2020, per the recommendation of Jack Sibley. May I have a motion?
So moved.
A motion by trustee DeSalvo, is there a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Ramus, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next, we have a recommendation from the police chief, Ken Scott, for the completion of a part-time police officer, James Ripper, effective September the 8th. Now, you notice that some of these are not, the dates haven't come yet, but it'll be before our next meeting. So the effective date is the date that's read tonight. This would be effective September the 8th, 2020.
So moved.
Motion by trustee DeSalvo, is there? Second by trustee Howard, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next, we have another recommendation from Police Chief Ken Scott to complete the probation of full-time police officer Emmanuel Vasquez, effective September 1, 2020.
So moved. Second.
Motion by trustee DeSalvo, second by trustee Howard, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next, we have another recommendation from Ken Scott to complete the probation of a full-time dispatcher, Joshua Wendell, effective September the 4th, 2020.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by trustee Livesey, second by trustee DeSalvo, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Our last probation would be Tim Green, to complete the probation of the senior automotive mechanic Timothy Green, effective September 3rd, 2020.
Motion.
Motion by trustee Ramus, second by trustee Livesey, all in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next, I have a recommendation from the police chief, Ken Scott, for a full-time, it's a reappointment, appointment for a full-time police officer, Frank A. Lillis. Step 1, per the collective bargaining agreement with no probation, effective August 20th, 2020.
So moved.
The reappointment for people is that he did leave here and now wishes to come back, and interviews were done, and that's how the recommendation now came to us. Motion by trustee DeSalvo, is there a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Livesey, all in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right, next we have a recommendation from the police chief that we surplus equipment in the police department, which is the Glock 22 weapons. The only thing I would like to add, if possible, to whoever makes the recommendation, is that I need to have a list, which will be part of the records, that show where these Glocks went to and serial numbers.
Well, you are, the serial numbers and where they went, whoever this federal firearms license dealer is.
Yes,
So moved, as amended.
thank you. Motion by trustee DeSalvo, is there a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Howard, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right, our next meeting in September, first Monday in September, is Labor Day. So through a motion, we'll move our Monday night Labor Day meeting to Tuesday, following day, September 8th, 7 p.m. here at the Village Hall, unless otherwise needed at the Senior Center. Could I have a motion to move the meeting?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by trustee Livesey, second by trustee DeSalvo, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. I have bills and claims that have been reviewed downstairs for fiscal year 2020, 2021 of $110,188.88.
Make a motion to pay the bills and claims.
Second.
Motion by trustee DeSalvo, seconded by trustee Howard. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right.
Mr. Mayor, before board comments, I would just like to introduce this to the board. I did send this to Regina, so she'll be able to make copies for everyone. The board had discussed amending the water law to discourage and in fact do away with shared water lines. So I have drafted some language that accomplishes that in the code. The board may wish to take a look at this, discuss it with the water department, and perhaps formally introduce it at the next meeting. So I'll just give this to you, Mr. Mayor,
And the clerk has it?
Regina has it, yes.
These will be in your boxes tomorrow morning. Okay. Couple things. Let's do the virus first. Orange County, 11,252 cases. Hospital, 12. That number continues to go down. It fluctuates a little bit. Deaths, 493. The numbers for Highland Falls, Fort Montgomery, together, they come together by the county, is 229. Now, that's up 2 from a few days ago. And then the number 227 a few days ago was up from a few days before that. So I called the county doctor, Dr. Gilman, which I speak to on a regular basis, and I asked her why, what was her feelings, why. And her strong indication from the research they're doing, and for which she said it's not just the town of Highlands, it's Warwick, it's Goshen, it's all over the county. The numbers are slowly going up because folks are taking vacations. Families are going to maybe places some of us wouldn't go to, as far as because the virus is there. It could be Carolina, it could be Florida, it could be California. And then coming home with the virus. So, and then infecting others. So that's a big part of the numbers going up. Along with, she said, the nice weather just brings more people out, and people have barbecues over their homes, and they invite their friends, and so it's all that kind of stuff that's going on, and it made sense to me. So, village and town, and the town of Highlands is 229. And again, I will say that West Point numbers are West Point numbers. West Point doesn't have one number, one case in our 229. They have their own numbers. The village clerk spent some time a week and a half ago and has filled me in on a lot of this webinar. There was a webinar, and she took time to go through it, and then her and I talked, and this is about public assistance that hasn't been told that we're going to get any assistance for the money that we have spent, whether it's from supplies or overtime or different other ways that we have spent money on this virus. But it's a good start for us to know what to expect. So thank you, Regina, for that. Businesses in Highland Falls, I can only assume Fort Montgomery, are hurting. People are not back, of course, to normal yet. I'm not sure that normal will ever happen again as we know it. But anything that we can do to support the businesses, whether it's a restaurant, whether it's a hardware store, a hair salon, anything that we have here, it would be appreciated by those owners. Right now, I can say that we're holding our own as far as not having closed stores. I know one store down the road here on the other side of the street is closing. But then I know other ones that have opened up. Next door here, the Greenberg building, the bakery that was there sold to another gentleman, his family, and he has taken this on in the middle of the virus, and he is doing extremely well. In fact, he just hired people. So we seem to be holding our own versus losing a lot of stores that other communities are going through. At least that's up to today. Royal Park and the Center Street Park continue to be disinfected by our highway department 7 days a week. John's around the corner here. John, thank you, and please thank the guys that do that for us. I have a certificate from Orange County Department of Health in reference to our pool at Royal Park, which it has passed all inspections. I have here confirmation that Royal Park Pond was treated for algae a couple of weeks ago, and so we're on top of that, even though there's a virus going on. During the virus, the COVID-19, the village is operating 100% in accordance with the state guidelines on open meetings. You see us spread apart here, you see us wearing masks, and we will continue that. This is the guidelines for a meeting, and there's also the second paragraph is guidelines for public hearings. Recently we had public hearings on property maintenance and on antennas for cell reception, and it was all done. And actually, we actually do more than the guidelines as far as notification, getting it on TV, taping it if our meeting is at the senior center, putting that on TV, if not that night, first thing in the morning. So we're adhering to all the guidelines and then some. So I want to thank the village board for that. I want to thank the village clerk for that. Through the work that the village clerk has done, you know that there were many hundreds of thousands of dollars that we received to do paving last year, and getting the money, getting the award is great, but getting the money from the state is another issue. We always get it, but it takes time. We have been compensated from the Larkin grant, $200,000, James Scoofus $100,000, CHIPS $120,000, Pave New York $5,000, a Harsh Winter $4,300, another $190,000 from Bill Larkin, Community Development Block Grant in Dasnia for the Senior Center $100,000, and the only one we're waiting on two. Community Development, $108,000 for the sidewalks on West Point Highway, which are still being done, so we accept that. We won't get it till it's done. And the second one is the James Scoofus Road Park, $140,000. Again, we still have to do the basketball court, and then reimbursement will show. But Gina, I happen to know how hard this is. You know what, I really don't know how hard it is, but I see the work and time you put into it. Thank you, because this is our money, and we wouldn't get it back without proper paperwork. Believe me, they just don't cut you a check. It's amazing what they want, so thank you. There was a letter sent to the property owner of 521 Main Street for damage done to the brand new sidewalk and the road, and the same letter was given to the contractor who's doing the work at 521 So there will be restitution from the damage that was done. Bog Meadow is down 48 inches. We're at 71%. But the water superintendent, Jack Sibley, told me today that that's actually normal. The 71% at where we're at is normal for this time of year. I want to read a letter, an email that was sent to me, and it reads as follows. This letter is addressed to me. This letter is our gratitude for the efforts of one of your officers. Due to a chance chat outside Dunkin' Donuts, Officer Frank Lillis proved why our town and its officers are the best. We were discussing the lack of power on the farm and house. So this happened during the when we lost power recently during that tropical storm that we had, and this concerns Morgan's Farm. Power was restored, but then turned off due to a tree on the wires by our house. Obviously, power was turned off so tree could safely be removed. Tree removed, power remained off for 3 days. Meanwhile, Officer Frank Lillis kept reaching out to me to check out our status. He made numerous calls to O&R to help ratify the problem. He even stopped up to the barn to see how we were doing. His time and concern went above and beyond of his responsibilities. We are totally grateful for his efforts. For me, it also was a reminder of how much our officers in blue mean to us. Not that I really needed a reminder, I am proud to say I am a daughter of a New York City retired officer. Thank you for keeping us safe with all you do and the police force of an amazing officer like Frank Lillis. Sincerely, Sherry Cashman. So we appreciate those letters when we get them. Brian?
Congratulations to everyone off probation. I've worked with a few of them, especially Josh Wendell, who's also an EMT, and for Tim Green, who's done, I think, a great job saving us money with our trucks, automobiles, and also Tim's the kind of guy that if work is slow, he's right out with the rest of the staff. So thank you. It's nice to see the maintenance, the house maintenance going. Today, I had some people stop by and talk about a house on Church Street, and it was due to the L&L property maintenance, and they did a fine job, and people now can walk up and down, so that was good. And the other one is that the house is also scheduled, is 10 Muller, Mrs. Hess' house, and that'll be done too. That's it.
Great. Jimmy?
Yeah, so I got a couple of things. I do have the report from the building department for July. So it's just a quick summary. They have issued they have received 12 permit applications, and they have issued 15 permits. There were no operating permits issued during the month of July. 3 certificates of compliance or occupancy were issued. There was 26 building permit inspections done. There were no fire inspections done. There was 26 advisory and violation notices issued, and 3 of those were completed. 9 municipal searches were completed. No zoning variance applications or planning board applications were received for that month. And they had a total of 55 physical inspections here in the village. So they are keeping busy down there. It's still kind of tough with the COVID, but if you have any concerns, issues, or complaints, call them, or if you can't get through to them, call us up here at Village Hall, and we'll see what we can do to expedite any concerns that you all have. Mr. Mayor, I did look into the packet that you gave me about the Canadian geese. At this point in time, I don't think it's financially feasible to go with that one route. I think we should stay with the Alan that we have been doing for the moment. And I have some other maybe solutions that we could maybe address, not this year, but next year, on how we can keep the park a little cleaner from that. And we just have to see how tight the money is. So I'd like to talk about that, but on a separate time. Another quick thing, I'm sure everybody's seen out in the news that there's some seed packets that they've been getting in the mail. If you haven't, I just want to give you guys an update on that. Please do not handle them and don't plant them. They could be very invasive to our environment here in the Northeast. So if you really want to find out more about them, the U.S. Department of Agriculture not only has been investigating, but they have a little seminar online that you can go to, and it will give you information on what the packets look like, et cetera, and why you probably should not handle them.
That's important, good.
Yeah, absolutely. There is another upcoming learning opportunity. I know everybody's getting out there. We're trying to get out of the house, doing some vacationing. It is that time of the year. It is Outer Ondak Water Week, and if you go to their website, they have some programs detailed in there. If you're going upstate into the Adirondacks, which is phenomenal up there at this time of the year, probably around 15, 20 degrees cooler for sure. I know I was in Sullivan today and it was at least 10 degrees cooler up there. But yeah, go to their website. They got a lot of great information and a lot of things that you can do in the Adirondacks. And I did mention at the last meeting about the boats. Again, please, boat responsibility is everybody's concern, but yours when you're out there using your boats in the waters. So if you just clean, drain them and dry them every time you use them, you could prevent any invasive species from going into our lakes. That's all I have for tonight, Mr. Mayor.
What do you call that?
Which one?
You bring it up sometimes, with the boat.
Oh, the boats.
What's
So what happens is,
What's the,
What's the washer boats?
Algae.
go ahead.
oh, the harmful algae blooms. That green, yeah. That could be potentially spread that way. But not only that, there are many other invasive species that you could pick up on your bottom of your boat and you bring to the next lake that you go to. So, you know, when you take it out of the lake, especially going up to Bog Meadow, I know a lot of people love to kayak up there, and they may be in some other lakes. So just wash down your boat, wipe it down, and it can keep our lakes pristine. Thank you.
Perfect. Jimmy?
Yeah, real quick, couple things. This weekend is the West Point Highland Falls Rotary Club's annual Storm King Run. You can visit the West Point Highland Falls Rotary Facebook page for information, or get in contact with me, 845-721-3650, and I can get you that information. There will be guidelines for following, you know, social distancing and stuff like that. I actually don't know what will happen with the mask since you will be running, but there are some safety protocols that we'll be following, different setups and timing and stuff like that. That's happening this Sunday. A shout out to folks in town trying to discard their masks and or gloves, which I see on the streets. We're doing okay, but we could do a little better. I take morning walks sometimes now, which Trustee Livesey's caught me doing, but I happen to see some masks and gloves on the ground, so just to stress that, you know, check your pockets when you're getting in and out of cars. I know things fall out of my pockets, so if they do, try to discard them in a receptacle. Just to reiterate what the mayor and the board has said, continue to, you know, patronize as many businesses on Main Street as we possibly can, and it's not necessarily spending, you know, $50 or $100, $10, $20, whatever you can do, whatever you can afford. It's very important during these trying times as we continue to get mixed signals from Albany. So just a shout out to the local business owners who are, you know, pushing through this. And just an overall thank you to all the employees, whether it's Village Hall, DPW, PD, Water, Sewer. you know, sometimes things get a little hectic, and sometimes we're pushing forward a lot of different projects, sidewalks, and just staying organized and staying on top of everything can sometimes be, you know, a huge mental game. And with most of the leadership, it's been going pretty well, so we appreciate that, thanks. And a shout out to the community residents for staying positive as we continue to get through this epidemic.
Just a couple things. The first is on Mountain Avenue where we have the end of Center Street. I know, Johnny, you're still here, right?
Yes.
So the yellow line that goes around that turn there was actually just recently an accident right there. Is there any chance that we could get the state to put a line there? It's so faded, there is no yellow line. And I have to tell you, Mayor Joe, it's going to happen again soon. When you're coming down Mountain Avenue, a lot of people cut in.
John, do you know where this is?
Right where the bridge is, John, where Center Street is.
Oh, that turned out on Mountain Avenue.
Yeah,
Uh,
there's not really a yellow line in that spot. So a lot of people that are coming down Mountain Avenue are into the other lane. And,
Oh, you mean the center lane, in the
the
center?
double yellow lines,
yeah, the double yellow line.
that would be the state. I think there's a break there because that's where you pull out.
There is-
Right, that's right. That's right. There's a break there, so when you pull out of center,
Well, it's actually, the break is up some.
But that's not, that you'd have to talk, we can't do anything on it.
No, I know you can't do anything, but I don't know if you have
okay, so I'm thinking of this. Because they're putting a new gas line Upper Mountain Avenue,
No, I don't
and
know.
because they're going to pave from the curb to the center, going down,
How far down are they going to pave to there?
I don't know for sure, but I think down to at least where it meets last year's job, which is by the hilltop, by West Street.
Right, right.
But when they do that paving, they're going to have to bring a striper in, whether they
Right.
hire an outsider or they do it themselves.
Yeah.
We could approach them then.
Even where the break is, you know, it's understandable that there's a break, but
Yeah.
before and after.
Yeah,
There really needs to be.
I'll look at that gap.
You'll see.
I know what you mean now.
When you go up Mountain Avenue and somebody's coming down, you get squeezed in.
Okay.
Because they're not realizing how close.
It's Mountain Avenue itself.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll look.
The other thing is, the last time we had an issue with the water, has the fire department decided that, is that a go where they're planning on?
Yeah, they're going to, the Humboldt Fire Department is going to train down at the wastewater treatment plant.
And that's gonna work out well for them and everything?
That's gonna work out very well for them, very, very well for them. And I've approached one of the officers at Fort McCormick Fire Department, and he was gonna take it back to a meeting, that the suggestion that they use one of the fire hydrants, there's 3 of them that are on the West Point water line. One in particular I'm thinking might be for them, which is by the high school, and I'm saying that one only because they could shoot the water into the stream. There happens to be a stream there. So the water would go into the stream and continue to flow wherever it goes. So that would be good for them too. Now, I don't have their answer yet.
Okay. And lastly, Mayor, you know this, about a month and a half ago, maybe more than that, I approached you and I said that we do have, I say 4 cemeteries here. We have Eagle Valley, Highland, Peacedale, and then we have the Catholic cemetery. Not too much Eagle Valley, but in the other 3 cemeteries, there's a lot of history that's there. And I came up to you and I mentioned to you that there's actually Revolutionary and Civil War soldiers that are there. Since I spoke to you last, there's a lot of headstones down, as you know. There's a lot of headstones down. A lot of the headstones, you could barely read the names on them. But for the heritage and the history that we have in this community, I'm moving a little bit forward, and I'm just waiting for it to come in. There's sort of like a tracing paper that you can put over top of these.
I know exactly what it is.
And what I'd like to do is, a lot of these that are down, I've already picked a couple of them up. They are heavy. So if anybody's listening right now and you want to help me do this, what I really want to do is, I don't want, a lot of them are soldiers that were out there from different wars and different eras, and I want to make sure that they're recognized. I don't want their headstones to lay flat with grass on some of them. I want to try to get these back up. I want to get the names. I'm going to mention one name, which is Potter. So if anybody does, I don't know if you recognize that last name, Potter, but that's a big name, and there's a lot of Civil War background with that name and everything. Union, Civil War Union. And I'm going to keep moving forward on this, and I'm going to have, at the next meeting, a bunch of names. And I think it would be nice to be able to know, in the town of Highlands, the village of Highland Falls, and Fort Montgomery, if some of those names, somebody says, hey, wait a minute, that's one of my relatives, or if somebody may know in the community that at Highland Cemetery, which has an awful lot of headstones and this and that, maybe you know of one that is your relative or something, and that headstone is down, just stop here, drop something in my box, I'll let my board members know and everything, and we'll see what we can do to try to get that headstone back up again. Because I think that would be really nice to recognize these people, rather than just laying down like that.
So I'll say a couple quick things. There are stones, in particular at Highland Union and Peacedale, that are down.
And Catholic.
And John Jones, sitting right around the corner, a lady came to me, her son, young, had died, and she was very upset because the stone had fallen over for one reason or another. Maybe it was tree roots, I'm not sure. But he and I went down and we fixed it, and it sure made that mother very happy.
Sure, yeah.
There are American Revolution and Civil War, as you said, buried in particular in Highland Union from the Battle of Fort Montgomery. That's a fact. And Civil War, especially at Peacedale. That they need, even though they're old and they passed away so long ago, they need to still be honored. I would encourage you that a lot of information that you're looking for is actually on this floor, right around the corner.
Right around the corner, right.
I urge you to go and speak to the historian.
Oh, yeah.
She, like I, is very much into the local cemeteries,
Yeah.
and we want them upkept. We want the upkeep to continue. If you don't start to straighten out stones that have fallen, it'll be your stone that's next.
Yes.
And whether that means anything to someone, I'm not sure, but it means a lot to me.
And some of them are actually just a flat stone.
Yeah.
That's all they are, so.
She's done an awful lot of research. There's no one that has better records than Stella Bailey. So you'll be amazed if you go over there. So I would strongly encourage you to do that, and then follow through with what you want to do. All right?
Very good.
Okay. If there's nothing, Elise?
No.
Okay. Regina? Okay. I would like to have a motion to go into executive session for contract negotiations and individuals with specific personnel matters. Please. Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you so much.